Hello and welcome to Lovely English Stories. Thank you for stopping by. This story is for upper intermediate to advanced English learners. Before I begin, I want to quickly apologise in advance if I pronounce any of the Welsh names incorrectly. I'm going to try my best. So, are you ready? Well, let's get started. B2 C1 English Story The Forgotten Welsh Manor. Nestled deep in the rolling hills of the Welsh countryside, Brynmoor Hall stood as a shadow of its former self. Once a grand estate belonging to the aristocratic Llewellyn family, it had witnessed centuries of lavish gatherings, whispered intrigues, and the slow decline of a way of life that had long since vanished. Now, its once ornate facade was weathered, its windows broken, and its gardens overrun with ivy and brambles. For decades, Brynmoor Hall had been left to decay, a relic of a forgotten era. The Llewellyn family had abandoned it after the Second World War, unable to maintain the vast estate as wealth and power shifted in Britain. The roof leaked, the ballroom's crystal chandeliers hung precariously, and the grand library, once home to hundreds of leather-bound books, reeked of damp and neglect. But change was on the horizon. A group of dedicated volunteers had formed the Brynmoor Trust, determined to restore the hall to its former glory. Leading the effort was Eleanor Price, a retired historian with an unshakable passion for Welsh heritage. She had gathered a team of enthusiasts, carpenters, gardeners, students, and retirees, each with their own reasons for wanting to bring Brynmoor back to life. The restoration work was slow and painstaking. Every morning, the volunteers arrived armed with tools, paintbrushes, and boundless enthusiasm. Roof tiles were carefully replaced, century-old wooden beams reinforced, and layers of dust swept from intricate carvings hidden beneath years of neglect. The walled garden, once a masterpiece of symmetry and colour, was being painstakingly cleared of weeds, its old rose bushes carefully pruned back into shape. Despite their efforts, the challenges were immense. Funding was scarce, and many doubted whether Brynmoor could ever be restored to its former magnificence. Bureaucratic red tape made grant applications exhausting, and unexpected setbacks, like the collapse of part of the east wing ceiling, which tested their resolve. But the volunteers refused to give up. One afternoon, while clearing out the study, Eleanor uncovered a forgotten treasure, a collection of handwritten letters, diaries, and photographs detailing the daily life of the Llewellyn family. These documents provided a glimpse into the past, inspiring the team even further. The discovery attracted media attention, and soon donations began to trickle in. As months passed, Brynmoor Hall began to transform. The once faded ballroom shimmered once more, its wooden floor polished, its chandeliers restored to their former brilliance. The estate's iron gates, long rusted shut, were repainted and swung open for the first time in decades. Visitors began arriving, locals eager to see the progress, historians fascinated by the hall's past, and curious travellers drawn by the beauty of a forgotten world being revived. On the day of the grand opening, Eleanor stood on the sweeping steps of Brynmoor Hall, watching as guests wandered through the restored rooms. Laughter and conversation filled the air, just as it had 100 years before. Brynmoor had been given a second chance, and thanks to the passion and dedication of its volunteers, its story would continue for generations to come. Now, let's go through some of the vocabulary from this story. If we don't mention any words that you don't understand, please comment below and we will get back to you with an explanation. So, let's start with aristocratic. This means relating to the nobility or the upper class. The stately home once belonged to an aristocratic family who lived in luxury. Boundless. Boundless means without limits or end. The volunteers had boundless enthusiasm, so they had a lot of enthusiasm for restoring the grand estate. Bureaucratic. This is often related to paperwork and official procedures, and it's often quite slow and complex. The team faced bureaucratic challenges and changes when applying for funding. Chandeliers. Chandeliers are large decorative ceiling lights, and they often have crystals, and if you're very rich, maybe even diamonds and other precious stones and gems. The dusty chandeliers still shimmered faintly in the dim hall. Intricate. If something is intricate, it is very detailed and complicated. The volunteers admired the intricate carvings. Nestled. Nestled means to be situated in a sheltered or a cozy position. The house was nestled in the rolling hills of the countryside. Ornate. If something is ornate, it is highly decorated and quite elaborate. The ballroom's ornate ceiling had traces of gold leaf. Painstakingly means to do something with great care and effort. The team painstakingly restored the fainted paintings, or the faded or fainted paintings means the same thing. Precariously means in a way that is not secure or stable. A broken statue stood precariously on the edge of the crumbling fountain. Pruned. Pruned means to be trimmed or cut back, usually plants or trees or even flowers. The gardeners pruned the overgrown hedges. Reeked, or to reek, means that something has a strong, unpleasant smell. The abandoned rooms reeked of damp and decay. Relic. A relic is an object from the past and often has some historical significance or interest. The old grand piano was a relic from the mansion's golden age. Restoration. Restoration is the process of returning something to its original state. So the volunteers were working on the restoration of the mansion, of the hall. Retirees. These are people who have stopped working due to their age. In the UK, this has recently changed, so it's either 67 or 68. Many of the volunteers were retirees with a passion for history. Rusted. If something is rusted, then it is covered in rust, and this is due to age or exposure to air or different elements. The rusted gates creaked as they swung open for the first time in years. Shimmered, or to shimmer, means to reflect light in a soft, wavering way. The restored chandeliers shimmered under the lights. Symmetry. Symmetry means a balanced and harmonious arrangement. The grand hall was designed with perfect symmetry in its columns and windows. Trickle. A trickle is a slow, small flow of liquid or movement. A trickle of visitors had started to return to the estate. Or you could say, my tap is only trickling water, meaning only a little bit of water is coming out of the tap. Unshakable means unable to be changed or weakened. The team had an unshakable determination. Weathered. If something is weathered, it is worn and damaged by time and the elements, the weather. The weathered stone walls told stories of centuries gone by. Dedicated. Dedicated means to be committed and focused on a goal. The dedicated volunteers spent every weekend at the estate. Funding. Funding is money provided for a specific purpose. The team applied for funding to restore the building. Glimpse. To get a glimpse of something is to get a quick or partial view of it. They caught a glimpse of the house through the trees. Glory. Glory means great beauty or splendour. The mansion was being restored to its former glory. Immense. Immense means very large or great in size, and this can also be feelings as well as the size of an object or a task. The immense task took years to complete. Neglect. Neglect means a lack of care or maintenance over a period of time. Years of neglect had left the mansion in a terrible state. Reinforced or to reinforce means to strengthen or make something more secure. The weakened beams were reinforced to support the roof. Resolve. Resolve means strong determination to do something. The volunteers' resolve never wavered. Scarce means in short supply of something, to be scarce, to be scarce. You'll hear both pronunciations. Funding for heritage projects was scarce or scarce. Setbacks. Setbacks are problems or delays that slow progress. They faced several setbacks. Uncovered or to uncover means to find or reveal something that has been hidden. So during the restoration, they uncovered a hidden passage. Heritage. Heritage is the history and traditions passed down from the past. It is important to keep heritage alive, and the manor house, the hall, is an important part of Welsh heritage. Lavish. If something is lavish, it is rich, luxurious, and extravagant. The mansion's lavish interiors had once hosted parties. Masterpiece. A masterpiece is a work of outstanding skill, beauty, or art. The grand staircase was a masterpiece. Revived or to revive means to bring something back to life or to restore it. The estate was slowly revived thanks to the help of the volunteers. Weeds. We struggle a lot with weeds in the UK, and these are wild plants that grow where they are not wanted. Weeds covered the once beautiful gardens, hiding the beautiful pathways. We hope you enjoyed this lovely English story and the vocabulary explanations. Thank you for stopping by, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share. If you'd like to become a lovely supporter of the channel, then click the link in the description box below to find out more. Or if you want to get productive, then check out our language learning productivity packs on Etsy, and don't forget to use the code YouTube10 for 10% off. See you soon!